Hey guys, Jena here, and today we're going to talk about the emotional embodiment for our somatic wellness series. So, we talk a lot about embodiment, right? So, let's talk about what that is. So, a lot of times, energetically, when we speak of embodiment, we talk about being grounded and allowing yourself to be more in your body. But what does it mean to be emotionally embodied? And really that's what we want to focus on in somatic work is the emotional embodiment. So with that, let's talk about the aspect of emotions. Before we do that, hi, hello, welcome. If you're new here or new to my channel, I'm Jena. I'm a somatic practitioner, and I am taking what I am learning and trying to bring it to you in a helpful way so that you have tips, tools, techniques that you can use in your everyday life to help you be more regulated, calm, and peaceful and live the life that you really want because no one likes being all over the place and chaos, right? So, emotional embodiment. Can we think of a time when perhaps you've been triggered emotionally? When you've allowed your emotional reaction to become so strong that you weren't able to really control it, or perhaps you're so scared of your own emotional response that you no longer are aware of your bodily sensations in the moment. You are only aware of that emotional feeling, right? Think about that for a moment. The emotional feeling is not emotional embodiment, right? The emotional feeling is largely being in your head, being in the mind, being in the energy of the emotion, but not necessarily being in your body in the emotion. So I want to help differentiate that for you just a little bit more. If you can think of a situation that brings up an emotion, like an emotional reaction for you, an emotional connection, something that's maybe stressful or mildly distressing, not totally trying to bring you into a spiral, but something that elicits an emotional response from you, a situation that perhaps is currently happening, a situation that you find stressful, right? And when you come into that recognition of that situation, you can start to ask yourself, like, what emotion is that really bringing up for you? First, you got to clarify what that emotion is, right? So sometimes it's easy to just be in the reactionary response, but not really pausing to take the time to clarify what that specific emotion is. And sometimes it's not what you think it is. Sometimes you got to dig a little bit deeper. And so it becomes a process of asking, like, okay, what emotion am I really feeling? What emotion is under this, right? Because that surface level response might not be the truth of what the emotion is that's buried deeper in the body. And it's what's buried deeper in the body that is truly holding the key of why that reactionary response is occurring. So here's where we come into, why it's important to get back to that emotional embodiment aspect of it, right? So once you clarify what the emotion is, you want to begin to then look at, well, where do you feel that in the body? What is the physical connection in that moment in the body to that emotional feeling, right? So this is where it forces you to tune into your physical body. This is important because a lot of times when emotions take over, for many people, you tend to leave the body. You start to dissociate from the body. You try to avoid feeling anything, probably because you've been through a traumatic experience that made you feel deeply hurt in your heart. And because of that, it's easier to like exit body, don't want to feel heartache, don't want to feel pain from taking something in personally that makes you feel rejected or less than. And so you leave the body. So by focusing on the emotion and then trying to pinpoint where in the body you're feeling it, right? Where in the body do you feel that emotion connected to the most? Is it tightness in the stomach? Is it tightness in the chest? Is it your heart beginning to race? Is it pain in the shoulder, in the back, right? Noticing little things like that that tell you where in the body that emotion is connected to starts to then get you into that emotional embodiment. You then are allowing for this level of awareness of where that emotion is connected for you. And while there are some, depending on how you work on it, I don't want to make it too confusing, but depending on your approach of working in this realm, there are some patterns, holding patterns that people can have connected to different emotions. But if you know me, you also know that I am a huge proponent of recognizing each individual person as unique. And that allows for the mindset to remain open, to explore the possibilities that might be different from the status quo. And guess what? When you're dealing with people, people are super complex, multi-dimensional beings that are all unique, and you mix that in with trauma and emotional reaction, and you literally get the most complex thing you could possibly think of. So I don't like to block it in with some sort of pattern, but it's just nice to have that awareness that there are patterns that can be presented according to different emotion and holding patterns, but not getting locked into that, right? Because this is about you and your personal experience and where you feel that emotion connected to, because that can be a unique story that's super individualized to you and your experience. So holding on to where you feel that emotion at in the body allows you to then bring your awareness inwards to that point in your body. So now that your awareness has been drawn inwards to the body and you're super aware of where in the body you're feeling it, just bringing your awareness to there begins to expand it. It begins to open it. And that is a needed part of this process too. So through the expansion of it, through that awareness being brought to it, you start to actually then begin to regulate the emotion occurring in that part of your body just from just from the awareness. Like that's the amazing part of this. So coming into that awareness of where you feel it at in the body, it's like, oh, okay, I feel it here. That recognition that you often don't give yourself is so powerful, and coming into that ability to regulate the emotional response. So now that you brought the awareness here, now that you are like tuned in to where at on your body you're feeling it, now you get to have a deeper conversation with it. Now you get to ask, how is that area really feeling to you? What is being held there? What is the information that your body is storing in that place that's connected so deeply to this emotion that it's ready to let you know how it feels, and then how it's feeling as you bring your awareness to it, right? And that's really the process of integration, of the processing of it, where you allow yourself to be in the awareness of how it's shifting and changing as your awareness is on it, right? Are you following me? Is that making sense? Between taking philosophy classes and somatic classes, like it's my mind is like way. Whew. So by bringing your awareness to that place, having that conversation with that area of your body where it's holding that emotion, just by having your awareness brought to that place, by having that conversation, you are already initiating a change. And in the recognition of that initiation of change, you are integrating and rewiring the process behind that emotional response that you're holding in your body. This is the practice of emotional embodiment. We can ground and ground and ground. But if in the emotional response you eject from the body, all the grounding tools that I give you aren't going to work, right? Because you're still going to practice that exit stage left, right? So, you want to practice the emotional embodiment to help you stay in your body, to help you be able to recognize what is being held, what is being carried. So, as you bring your awareness to it, you are able to release it and not allow for it to have so much power over you. That's really the overall process of it, is really releasing that power, because the that power differential is there because of the avoidance. And so a lot of times that avoidance practice is what happens when people enter the freeze state or the flight state, right? So it is that, you know, want to exit, want to get away, don't want to turn towards it. Those that tend to be in more of the fight state, sometimes they can turn towards it. They don't mind that interoception that is required of turning towards the problem. But at the same time, if you're activated in a fight state, you might not be aware of what you are holding in you if that reaction is projected outside of you. So, this is a practice that works for all of those responses, because what it's asking of you is to turn inwards to look at your emotional response and to really allow yourself to experience the embodiment of that emotional response in a way where you are holding yourself from a place of non judgment, where you are just allowing yourself to be in the awareness of your emotion and reminding yourself like you are not your emotion, right? You are that piece of you that is in the awareness of your emotion. So there's also a layer of depth to that too, where you are also teaching yourself and reminding yourself like you're not your emotion. Your emotion is a fleeting sensation that is flowing through you, but that isn't you, right? So you get to be this piece of you that is in the awareness of the emotion and recognizing where it's connected at to you. And you become like your own inner detective of how it's connected to that place within you. What story is there? What is being held there? What does it want you to know, right? You begin this befriending of your own body again through this process. And it is quite amazing, just the awareness and how much that brings change to the way you navigate the whole situation. It is um it is really quite profound. I am so enjoying learning all of this, because to me it makes so much sense as a practitioner in the realm of energy, in the realm of working with the body and knowing like people store stuff in different areas of the body, and there are definitely emotional connections and holding patterns that you find. But what is really interesting and really close to my heart is this sense of empowerment that also comes in when I get to share with you a practice like this that reminds you that you hold this power yourself. You don't need to go to someone else for that, but you can do this yourself. But in those moments that it's too much, or you're stuck, or you think you're not seeing something, it's helpful to turn towards someone else to help you. But to me, it always comes back to the empowerment, right? I love for people to feel empowered in their own healing journey. So this way, like you are able to connect to this, you are able to do this work, you are able to show up for you, because the healing that comes from that process is so much more profound than going to someone else for some healing work and feeling like you have to go again outside of yourself for that to happen. In essence, when you go to someone that does healing work, it's not the person that is doing the healing. They're facilitating the space for that healing to occur inside of you. But most people that go to healing sessions tend to hold this idea or this concept that they're going to someone for healing that they can't do themselves, when really, in essence, all of the healing is actually occurring from within themselves. So I think it's super important that I just point that out too. And that might seem, like counterintuitive considering I do offer sessions. But my point of view from the sessions is that the sessions are for those that feel stuck, for those that feel like they can't, there's something there that they're not able to see. They feel a blockage there. They can't quite put their finger on it and they need additional help, or they're too overwhelmed and they can't get to a place of being able to practice something like this because the overwhelm is so much, right? So, this is where that turning to someone for help is absolutely necessary and okay. That is what that's there for, right? Whether it's for healing work or whether it's going to see a therapist, a talk therapist, right? There's always aspects of needing to turn outside of you for assistance when you need it. But there's also that process of recognizing how important it is to be empowered in your own healing journey, to know that even when you're going to these people that are helpers and healers, that you remember like that healing is still occurring through you, not from someone else. So this is what to me is just like so in alignment with everything that I do, the way that I view healing, the way that I run my business and my practice. Like, this is just, it's huge for me. When I say like this has really been bringing things full circle for me, like I 1000% mean it. This work that I've been doing, that I've been being trained in, has been absolutely incredible for my journey. And I do feel like it's finally like coming around to completion, and I'm feeling like it's just added a layer of work that is so powerful and profound for people, that I hope that I am doing it justice by offering little glimpses of it in these videos for you, because I just I know the world is full of people that are in so much need of healing. And I know, because that's how I found this work too, was my own healing journey. And so to be able to have undergone this process for myself, and so many years of study and practice and learning so many different modalities, theories of energy and thought processes, and research literature on all of this, like it's amazing to be able to take that and use it in the way that I apply these things in my work, in my offerings, in my services, and in my way of connecting to you here. So I hope that you find benefit with this and exploring, what emotional embodiment means to you, right? We tend to get so busy in our lives that sometimes we forget to pause. And to me, being so heavily in the somatic world, it's heavy on the pause. It's heavy on the let's slow down. Let's breathe. Let's feel again. And I to me, like, if we could get everyone to slow down and feel again, I just think it would solve so many problems. Most of things that we see today is because people are so disconnected from their own feeling nature. When we think of crimes, when we think of things like that, like it's people that are just so disconnected from their own healing nature that they forget the feeling aspect of life. And so many people live from their heads nowadays, that the ability for emotions to take control of the mindset, to take control of the thought patterns, to take control of then the actions you do based on the living in the head, that you forget that the felt sensation of life is so completely different than what it is like living from the mind. We can think about something all day, right? You can think about being grounded, but thinking about being grounded and actually feeling grounded is two totally different things. That felt sensation is such a powerful response of connection to the unity, I think, of everything. And that to me is some of what makes this so powerful. When we come back to that felt sensation, to being in the awareness of our selves, that embodied self. We are allowing ourselves to really be in connection to all, to everything, to experience oneness, because you can't experience oneness from the mind. It has to be a felt experience. So I offer this to you, and I hope that this helps you on your journey, because to me, this is such a profound way of doing healing work that I think is so needed, so important, and so powerful in the journey. So whether you need like healing work and you're like, yes, like I really needed this, or just the awareness of how embodiment is connected to these facets of healing, right? It's just so, so powerful. And I hope that it serves you in some way. And I hope that you recognize the difference between being in the head and thinking it and actually feeling it. Because I feel like that is one of the biggest things that I see with people today, whether it's leading circle or teaching classes. It's it's knowing and being in the awareness of you're trying to share a felt sensation, and you see majority of the people, they're thinking it, but they're not feeling it. They're not into that felt sensation. So to me, the embodiment practice is such an important part of this work, not just for healing work, but to be in relation with life, right? To actually be living from a place of felt sensation, of feeling, of being embodied versus being in the head. When we are in our head, we are spinning stories. And, I see it quite often where even when people are talking, they are talking from their head, they are talking from the stories in their mind. They're not talking from their heart. They're not talking from their felt embodiment. They are talking from their mind because they're living in their head. And in that space, I know like they're missing pieces because they're avoiding the pieces in their body, right? And so bringing that embodiment back into play, slowing down, pausing, coming back into the embodiment of the emotions is such a powerful practice in and of itself. So even if you're not in a space or the capacity to have to think about something that is a challenging situation that creates an emotional response, right? If you're not in the capacity to do that, then don't do it, right? Always, always operate from your place of capacity in the moment. But if that's not for you at this time, then perhaps it's just the recognition of coming into the body again, of being more fully embodied, and really checking your awareness of if you are just thinking about being embodied or if you are actually embodied and aware of the felt sensation that your body is having in each and every moment in your environment right now, in the space that you're in the emotion, the feeling that you're in. Are you aware of your bodily felt sensation at this moment? Right? That is your indicator as to whether or not you are embodied. I can do a grounding practice with you right now, and you can visualize it in your mind. But if you're not feeling it in your body, you're still not embodied. You're not fully grounded if you're not in your body. And so, embodiment is going to be a huge one for the practice of somatic therapy. So, um, I hope that this helps you and helps you to kind of uncover maybe another layer for yourself in your journey. I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, feelings about this in the comment section, and I will get back and answer you as soon as I am able to. But thank you all for being on this journey with me, of learning with me, of participating in these videos. I really would like to get back to consistency with my posting of the videos. However, I'm finding it a little difficult, challenging with my schedule right now of things. So I felt like it's more important for me to just be able to create a video and get it out there when I'm able to than maybe having a set day and time to do it, because it really all depends on where I'm at in my courses that I am also taking and my availability. So um, I wish that I could give you a date and time. I wish I could do this live, but I just don't have it within my schedule at this moment. So, but I thank you for tuning in, and you know that if you leave a comment, that I will come back and speak to you. So, thank you so much for supporting me and my journey, and I hope that I am supporting you in yours. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Namaste.